Hello and welcome. Today we're going to discuss engagements as Winston. We have 5 examples we're going to go through, each with a non-optimal version and a more optimal version. The theme today is going to be line of sight. We're going to be blocking line of sight from our opponents using the environment, things like walls, pillars, trucks, billboards, etc. This is going to allow you to decide when to peek. And based on what you see when you peek, you can decide whether or not to continue the engagement or pause the engagement. Also, this will allow you to mitigate damage because you'll be dancing with the environment, all while still creating space and zones for your team. Obviously, it would be great if we could go through 20, 30, 40 plus examples, but we don't have time for that. So instead, hopefully you can just take the ideas from today and then apply them to all the vast situations that can arise in Overwatch. One last thing before we get started, bonus points for when you can keep line of sight open with your teammates when you do this. So ideally, you want to be able to get support with heals, bubbles, etc. That won't always be the case. It won't always be possible, but when you can, look out for it because that is always ideal. So in some of these examples, we will have that, and some of these we won't. So we'll talk about that. Okay, great. Let's get into it. So we have Night Market on Lijiang Tower. Winston goes, he dives in. Not a whole lot to say here. You see this kind of thing in solo queue fairly often. Not so great. Okay, here we have Winston doing it again, but except now he's going into the courtyard. So much more effective. Like we talked about earlier, he can decide when to peek. He's mitigating damage, still creating space for his team. Unfortunately, doesn't really have great line of sight from his teammates, so that's not ideal. Still much more effective than what we saw in the first clip. And the idea of this video isn't to say, oh, do these engagements. It's if you are going to do this engagement, do it the optimal way. You're more likely to succeed that way. You know, let's say nine times out of 10, because sometimes you do just want to like dive in and do damage, totally. But a lot of times, I would say the vast majority of the time, especially when you're opening, like on the first fight of the match, this will be more effective. Okay, cool. So let's go to the next one. Here we have Route 66. Jump in, nothing too special here. This one's not so bad because you can just fall to the low ground, so not horrible, but not ideal. So let's go into the second one. So here, boom. Now here, we're hugging this billboard much more tightly, right? We're kind of like to the side of it. If the opponents are more out in the open to the right, we hug the billboard tighter to the left. If the opponents are hugging the billboard more around the corner to the left, then we're gonna go around the billboard more to the right. So, you know, just based on what they do, we can decide what to do. Not to mention we have bonus points for having our teammates behind us to heal us, so that's great. And, you know, bubble us, DM us, whatever, basically support. So awesome. Next one, we have Nepal. You see this one all the time. Winston goes in, either it works or it doesn't, right? So not so great. Let's try this second one, this more optimal version. Boom, we have this wall to dance with, same idea. Not so great in terms of the line of sight from our teammates. But hey, you have a health pack behind you, you have this wall, you have options, you have time, you're creating space, and you can peek out and do damage as you see fit. So awesome. Next one, King's Row. So this is actually a pretty scary engagement in general, but first we're going to show the non-optimal version. So boom, we jump in. This one scares me. There's so many angles of attack against you, so not ideal. Let's see this version. Much more effective. We're going to use this wall. Same idea as before. Bonus points for having our teammates behind us or rather that have a line of sight open to heal us, support us, etc. So great. All right, last clip. Hollywood, you see this all the time too. Winston's, they go, they jump in. Either works or it doesn't. Either they'll get a kill or they'll die, or maybe both. Not great. Cool. I'm sure you can already see where this one's going. We're gonna go and use this wall. You can also go onto like the balcony, that ledge area. That one's a little bit more dangerous because there might be a soldier, Zen, Anna, whatever on cafe. But you have that kind of pillar that's up there to work with. Bonus points here for having a line of sight open with your teammates. So that's pretty much the end of the clip. So just to kind of wrap up, use line of sight, rather use the environment to block line of sight. Always going to be helpful. Again, there's times where you want to just go and dive and do damage. That's totally cool. But, you know, keep an open mind and see if a lot of times, you know, use this engagement instead. And it can be extremely effective I would say in more circumstances than the non-optimal way. So great. I hope you enjoyed this video. Let me know if you'd like me to do a similar style video for like other topics for other characters, and I'll explore that. And if you like the video, please subscribe. Thank you.